Hello everyone. Today we will understand about crop production. First of all, what is agriculture? Agriculture basically is a science that deals with growing crops and rearing animals for human use is called agriculture. It is approximately 12,000 years old. Okay? And if we talk about the population, that the 40% of the world's population is working in agriculture, and in India it is approximately 60%. Okay, and with the advancement of time, we are using so many techniques, new techniques for growing our crops, and for having the best yield of the crops. Okay, and for this we are doing so many new efforts, right? And this is known as green revolution or agricultural revolution, because if we talk about the 1960 or before 1960, the production of food grains was very poor, okay, and very less. But with the advancement of time, so like we are using new techniques, with that we are just increased a lot in the agriculture field. Okay, next we have horticulture. So it is also the branch of agriculture, and it deals with the production of vegetables, fruits, flowers and decorative plants. Okay, so like it is similar to the agriculture in many ways, but it is usually carried on a smaller scale than the agriculture, right? Next we understand that what are crop plants. A large number of plants are grown at the same place for food. It is called a crop. Okay, for example, large number of wheat plants are grown in a field, make up the crop of wheat, right? And cereals are also there, and from these cereals we just take the food grains for the different purpose. Okay, and these crops are divided into the another category. So let's see the different types of these crops. The first one is food crops. So what are food crops? So basically the crops that are grown for food, that are grown as food for the humans and animals. For example, our wheat, rice, jowar. So these are the few examples of it. And next we have plantation crops. So these are the crops that are grown in a large estates, often for sale in the distant markets. For example, like tea, coffee. These plants are grown at the large scale. This imports and exports also, right? And the next one we have cash crops. So as the word cash, that means it is meant for some having a amount of money. Okay, so the crops that are grown mainly for profit, okay, not for your use by the farmer. So these are known as cash crops. For example, cotton. Further, these crops are divided into two main categories in India. Okay, so Kharif and Rabi crops. So these are the two different crops, but they are grown in the different time of their nation. For example, if we talk about the Kharif crops, so these are the crops that go in the beginning of southwest monsoon, for like during June and July. Okay, and they are harvested in the month of September, November, October. Samples can be maize, soybean and cotton. And then the next is rabi crops. So these are the crops that are sown in the month of October to December and are harvested by the March, April. Okay, so March and April. So examples of rabi crops can be gram, pea, mustard, linseeds. And the next thing we have methods of crop production. So first of all, what are the methods of crop production? First one we have preparation of soil. That means how you need to prepare your soil for sowing your seeds. For example, it involves loosening and turning of the soil. Okay, so what can be the things that you need to prepare your soil. For example, a plow. So plowing is a process in which you just dig it the soil for having some quality of soil with some like with lots of moisture. Okay, so the next we have seed selection and sowing. That means what kind of seeds you require for sowing it. So the things that you need to keep in your mind, that your seeds would be good quality of it and healthy and free from the diseases. Okay, so for this we have lot of method for sowing the seeds. For example, if we talk about the sowing seeds using a seed drill and even by hands also. So by manually, like it can sprinkle, I mean seeds can be sprinkled by hands also, and this is known as broadcasting method. Seed drill is also there, having a funnel shaped opening, and it is leading to the long tube and it is attached to a plow. Seeds are put into the funnel as the plow makes furrow in the soil. The seeds are further deposited in the soil by the drill. Next we have manuring. So we know very well that the plants also require some nutrients for its growth, and process is known as manuring. So we have different methods for this process. So let's see. First of all, we have natural methods. The first one is field fallow. So what happens here? In this method, we just leave the land for one or more seasons. So with that plants and animals and some other organic matter they are collect on the land are composed by microbes, and thus these nutrients are returned in the soil. Next method we have crop rotation. So in this method we just rotate the crops by changing the crops in each season, and this can fulfill the nutrients in the soil, and this is known as saw crop production. Example, wheat or rice uses up large amounts of nitrogen from the soil, and this nitrogen can be naturally replenished if the next crop is that of a legume like pea or groundnut. The next one we have mixed cropping. So what happens here? In this method we just uh, grow one or more crops together in the same field, and are chosen in such a way that the nutrients needs of one crop are fulfilled by the other. Like any leguminous crop you can grow with the peas, soybean or other green beans. Next we have using fertilizers and manures. First of all, what is manure? It's an organic substance and is obtained by the dead plants and animal waste to the soil while still green, for like legumes, ryegrass, fenugreek, etc., to improve the fertility of soil. And if we talk about the animal manure, it is consist of animal waste. Okay, so like dead plants and dead animals, these are to be buried in a deep pit. Okay, and it turns into compost, and this compost is very useful for the. Next we have fertilizers. So basically fertilizers are the chemical substances and they contain one or more nutrients essential for the plant growth. NPK is widely used fertilizer, and it is stand for nitrogen, phosphorus and potassium salts, and they just help to productivity of the crops. Next we have irrigation. So irrigation means supplying water to the crops in the field. Generally water that is given to the plants is taken from the rivers, reservoirs, lakes, ponds, wells and tube wells, etc. And for this we have different methods. The first one we have sprinkler method. So what happens here? In this method, water escapes from revolving nozzles and is sprinkled like rain on the crops, and this system is useful for sandy soil and uneven land. The next one we have drip irrigation. So in this method, water is allowed to fall drop by drop from a pipe just near the roots of the plants, and this and this minimizes the wastage of water. So however, it is very expensive, but it is useful in areas where there is water shortage. And if we give excess of water to the crops, then what would happen? The condition excess of water is said to be waterlogged, and this waterlog reduces the supply of air to the roots of the plants. The next one we have weeding. So what is weeding? Basically weeding means unwanted plants. Okay, so weeds are unwanted plants that grow along with the crops, and these weeds are to be removed from near the crops so that the nutrients are given to the only crops. And the process of removing these weeds from the field is called weeding. For this process we have different methods. The first one, like herbicides, which or weedicides. So these are the chemicals that are sprayed on the weeds, and with this they just burnt with these chemicals. Okay, and it can be easily removed. And Dalapan and metachlor are the examples of these weedicides or herbicides. Next one we have protection from pests and diseases. So if the pests and diseases cannot be controlled uh, over the crops, that means they would not be grow properly and they would not give any good yield of the crops, right? So like pests can be controlled by pesticides, which are poisonous chemicals, and pesticides kill pests as well as their eggs and larvae but do not affect the plant, and these are called insecticides. And we have some rodenticides. So what are rodenticides? We have like rodents, that means big mice. Okay, and these mice harm our crops very much. So this rodenticides can keep the rodents away by killing them. So our crops can be affected by some fungal diseases. So to make the crops fungal free, we have some fungicides that destroy the fungi. And the next we have harvesting, threshing and winnowing. So these are the second final processes in which we just include crop production. The first one we have harvesting. So what is harvesting? When the crops matures, it is harvested, that means cut and gathered. So this may be done by manually by using a sickle. So sickle is an instrument by which you just cut your crops, or by using a machine called harvester. And after harvesting we have the next process, that is threshing. So what happens here? The grains are separated from the cut crop. Okay, and this process is known as threshing. For this process we have a machine thresher, and a farm machine is also there. This is known as combine. After threshing, the grain has to be separated from the chaff, and this can be done by the help of a wind, and this is known as winnowing. And in this process, mixture is dropped on the ground from a height, and the heavier seeds fall almost vertically down, whereas the lighter chaff gets blown away by the wind and falls at a distance. And this process can be done manually, like with the help of winnower, and we have winnowing machine for the separating of the grains from the husk. The last one we have storage. So if the seeds are separated from the husk, that means they are used to be stored in the granaries. Okay, so silos or granaries, they are quite similar. And the extra stock is also there, and this is known as buffer stock, and it's also to be maintained properly. So the next we have increasing crop produce. So how can you produce your crop? Like the production of crop can be, how it can be good? First of all, try to grow more and more trees. Okay, because they just help conservation of soil, and in the better soil we can grow our crops very well. and wastage of our crops should be avoided. Next we have plant breeding. So what is plant breeding? It's a method of increasing crop output, and this is called plant breeding. So what happens here means producing offsprings. Okay, scientists have controlled the reproduction in plants and animals so that they have required characteristics with make them more useful. Next we have hybridization. So what is hybridization? It's a technique used for developing new varieties of crops by crossbreeding two different varieties. For example, you can easily see in the pictures like uh, two different flowers were there, red and white. But when we hybridize both the flowers, it gives pink one. Okay, and even we have different colored of capsicums and so many varieties of rose. The next is emasculation. So what happens in emasculation? It is a process in which we just cut the anthers and then transfer these anthers to the other stigma of the different flower. Okay, and this also leads some variety of the plants, and even by combining different stalk and skin can also be, can also lead to the new variety of the plants. Next we have very important topic, nitrogen cycle. So what is nitrogen cycle? The cyclic process of nitrogen being fixed, used by the plants and animals and later returned to the atmosphere is referred to as the nitrogen cycle. And this nitrogen cycle involves the following steps. The first one is nitrogen fixation, okay, and the second nitrogen assimilation, then ammonification, nitrification, and at the last denitrification. So first of all we have nitrogen fixation. So the process of converting the free nitrogen gas of the atmosphere into nitrogen compounds is called nitrogen fixation, and it can be done by the two different methods, atmospheric nitrogen fixation and then other one is biological nitrogen fixation. So first of all we will talk about the atmospheric nitrogen fixation. So what happens here, lightning causes high temperatures which results in the reaction between nitrogen and oxygen present in air to produce some oxides of nitrogen, and these dissolve in rainwater forming dilute nitric acid, and this nitric acid reacts with the alkalis of the soil to turn into nitrates. So the next one is biological nitrogen fixation. So in this kind of method there are some plants that help to fix the nitrogen in the soil. So let's see what can be the plant. So it is the conversion of atmospheric nitrogen into nitrogen compounds by the living organisms. So how? Like nitrogen fixing bacteria we have called rhizobium bacteria, and this bacteria can be found in the soil, and they are also found in the root nodules of leguminous plants like peas and beans, and these bacteria can fix atmospheric nitrogen into nitrates. Next is nitrogen assimilation. So what is nitrogen assimilation? It is the process of conversion of inorganic nitrogen compounds into organic compounds. So the basically what is the process means, here the inorganic compounds are changed into the organic compound that become a part of living organism, and this is called nitrogen assimilation. And after this step the next process occurs, that is called ammonification. So in ammonification some organic compounds, for example proteins, they just convert into ammonia, and that is called ammonification. So some organic compounds they just convert into ammonia and known as ammonification. And the next one we have nitrification. So in this process ammonia further converts into nitrates, right? So this is called nitrification. This nitrifying bacteria are present in the soil. And on the other hand we have denitrification, which is the last step in the nitrogen cycle. So some of these nitrates are absorbed by the plants, right, and the rest are converted to free nitrogen gas. Okay, the leftover nitrates they further convert into nitrogen gas, and that is known as denitrification. And for this process we have denitrifying bacteria. Clear? So our next topic is food from animals. So we know very well that we have two major categories, two major source of food, that are plants and animals. So plants, we know very well that so many things are there, like leaves, seeds, and so many things that we take from plants. And if we talk about the animals, so for taking the benefits from animals, we have some animal husbandry. So what is this? The breeding, feeding, and caring of domestic animals for food and other purposes is called animal husbandry. So we have different things that we get from the animals, and they have different processes. For example, first of all, we have meat and egg yielding animals. So, such as goat, poultry animals, example can be chicken, duck, and turkey. Okay, fish, sheep, and pig. So, these are the animals that give us meat and egg. And large scale rearing of fish for food is called pisciculture, right? And the next one is milch, which is also called milk. So milch animals such as cow, buffalo, goat, and camel. So these are the animals that give us milk, and even from milk we make so many different other the things like butter, cheese, curd, and ghee, etc. Okay, and the last one we have apiculture. So what is apiculture? The large scale rearing of honeybees is called apiculture. And what do the honeybees give to us? It's honey. This honey we get from the animals. Clear? So students, this was for today. Okay, and in the next video we will come with our next chapter.